for those of you that don't know, I'm Maggie, and today I thought it would be fun to sit down and just do a get to know you video. Answer questions that you have, because I feel like the thing that I love most about YouTube and why I kind of got started was that I felt like the YouTube people that I subscribed to and watched were my true friends. I felt like I knew about them. I want you to feel that same sense of community with me on my channel, and so I put out an ask on my Instagram to see, what do you want to know about? Do you want to know about me or my relationship or what my goals are for 2021 or what my pet peeves are, because I'm a real human too. A lot of you delivered tons of fun questions to go through today. I'll try my best to get to as many of them as possible. And also welcome to the 5,500 or 6,000 of you that are new. Let's dive right in. And the first question is pet peeves. Pet peeves for sure. I have kind of a lot. And somebody commented saying, I'd love to know your pet peeves. You seem like such a calm person, so I can't wait. I would say in my professional life, my work life, because I do have a full-time job outside of YouTube, I'm pretty calm. And then in really stressful situations, like we had this glass fall off of our shelf and shatter everywhere, I was pretty calm during that. But little things will really get me going, and then I'm not as calm. So a couple of pet peeves of mine. One is just bad grammar in general. I feel like it is everywhere. On the news, people use bad grammar. Not that The Bachelor should be our standard for how humans should act, but so many people on that show really screw up grammar. And it's the things that are I wanted to know if you wanted to go to the fair with Brian and me. It's with Brian and me, not with Brian and I, because it's the object of a preposition. And everybody says Brian and I. And that drives me bananas. This is grammar 101. Even the news does it. So don't feel bad if you're one of those people, but just fix that going forward. Another thing that annoys me, this is an inanimate object that I absolutely hate, and that is clothes hangers. Never met one that I liked, not a single one. I recently switched over to those velvet clothes hangers because I wanted to save space in my closet, because I'm currently doing this 30 days to minimalism challenge. Well, those things are great for space saving, I'll say, and my clothes don't fall off of them, which is awesome. But they are so hard to get your clothes on. It gets stuck to the fabric, and you're trying to yank them through your shirt because you don't want to stretch out the collar and wrap it around the hanger. Whew. Hate clothes hangers, hate hanging up clothes, hate putting up clothes. But I'll do laundry all day long. Very strange. I also have some YouTube pet peeves. And since you all are kind of in this community, and you'll get these. The first one is when people ask comments about things that I directly address in a video. And I mean, the reality is, and every analytics would show you, that people just don't watch videos all the way through. Now for me, the people that I subscribe to, I watch from beginning to end. That's just what I do, because I feel like I know those people and they're my friends. But for some people that are just looking for quick information, I get it. But if I spent the time to put it in the video and you're just gonna ask the question without watching the video, go elsewhere. Go to Reddit or something if you just want to ask questions and not watch the content. You know what I mean? Okay, another YouTube pet peeve, and this may just be because I'm a YouTuber myself. Yes, I care about growth, and I care about revenue, and I care about how well my videos are doing, and I look at the view count, and I really want to continually improve, but I don't think that I would ever sit here and ask you, please watch all of my ads. I really want more money, so please just do that for me. I don't like that. I really, really don't. YouTube for me is a source of escape. And if I don't want to watch ads, I don't click forward. That's half of the reason why you watch YouTube and not regular TV. Do you know what I mean? Because you can skip the ads. And yes, it does support YouTubers. Yes, it does result in more ad revenue, which is a large majority of the income that YouTubers make. But I want this to be a source of information and community and fun for you. I should be earning more money because I'm hustling and I'm trying really hard and I'm putting out quality content, not because I'm making you watch the ads on my videos. Now, if you watch them and you support me and that's part of what you do, thank you, and I really appreciate that, but I want you to do what's best for you, because we all need an escape from this world that we're living in sometimes. I want my channel to speak for itself, and I want the content to do the work for me. I want to put my all into this and create good things and have more people watch that way and grow my community, because more people are interested in what I have to say and not because I ask them to sit through ads. So anyway, that's a big pet peeve of mine. So I guess this is a good time to answer the question about how did I start YouTube, or how did I first learn to edit? Now I did in my Vlogmas, and I'll link that exact video below, explain how I got started on YouTube. Just to give you a high level overview, Basically, I was really unhappy in my job when I first got out of college. I did it for 2 years, but I needed some sort of like creative escape outside of that job. And so I decided to start a YouTube channel. So that was kind of my why and what drove me to do it. Plus, I really loved watching other people's YouTube videos, and I love, I don't know, researching and figuring out my opinion on certain products, and this was just a platform to kind of share that. Now it's blossomed into this much bigger thing than I ever thought it would be, but I love it. Starting was a little bit intimidating because there are so many people in this space that have really good, high quality content, but just know that's not gonna be you from day one. You've gotta start from somewhere. You can start with your phone, and you can start with whatever free editing software comes on your computer. That's what I did. Filmed on my phone, sat next to a great sunny window, and then used iMovie to edit all my videos for a really long time. I will say mindset is everything. For me, YouTube was always a hobby and an escape from my day job. Now I have a new job and I absolutely love it, and I love balancing both my day job and YouTube. And I do want this to succeed and do well, but you cannot start your channel and immediately expect to get like thousands of subscribers. It doesn't work like that. You've got to be consistent. You've got to, come up with unique content. You have to be you, because there's already other people out there doing them. So if you have a channel that you love and you're trying to emulate them, you're never going to be them, because you are you. So be yourself, start a channel, do something unique that you are truly interested in, not because it's going to get a ton of views, because it'll totally shine through in your videos if you don't care a lick about what you're talking about. As for how I learned to edit, I am just completely self-taught. I started with iMovie, and then I would import the footage and just kind of play around with it. I looked up general tutorials about like, this is how you cut, and this is how you add in transitions and the basics like that. But then if I wanted to incorporate something a little bit more advanced, I just go to Google and figure it out from there. Recently, I switched over to Final Cut Pro 10. It has so much more capability than iMovie, I'll say. But when you're first getting started, just use iMovie. You don't need anything super fancy. You might not even like doing YouTube. Just give it a shot with the free stuff and things that are already accessible to you, and then invest on the back end if it's something you want to pursue long term. Somebody else asked the question, I want to know more about you and Brian's relationship. What are your love languages and how do we communicate? So for love languages, I am gifts and quality time. So I like to show my love by giving gifts and quality time, and I like to receive love in the same way, which I know is not always the same thing for people, but for me that is the case. And then for Brian, his love languages are quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation. Because we only overlap on that like quality time aspect, it has been something that we've had to, I don't know, just figure out as time has gone on. Knowing how your significant other receives love or shows love or wants love can really help with overall communication. There's like a million free quizzes online if you're curious that you could go take with your spouse or your significant other to figure that out, but it truly does make a difference in everyday communication. So highly encourage you to do that. Keeping along the same topic, somebody asked, how long did you date before moving in together or buying a home? Brian and I did so many things within like 6 months of 2020. So we dated for 4.5 years, and then got engaged in July of 2019. And then we had full intentions of moving into an apartment together after we got married. We lived separately the whole time we were engaged until like the last month. And then long story short, we got Nash. We figured out we really wanted to buy a home, not just because of him, but because we could afford it, and it was more prudent in our eyes to do so. So we started house hunting about 2 to 3 months before we got married. We ended up moving into our home in May of 2020, and then we got married in June of 2020. So we really only moved in together and lived with each other a month before we got married. That was just our choice. It worked for us. I will say you'll save on a lot of rent if you do choose to live together before you're married, but everybody has a different take on that or a different preference when it comes to that. So do what's best for you and your partner. And this is a sweet question that's also kind of along the same lines because of my answer. What were you most thankful for in 2020 despite the craziness? I will forever be thankful for 2020. I mean, that is when Brian and I established our family. That's when we adopted Nash. That's when we bought a home. That's when we got married. Like, there were so many wonderful things to come out of 2020 despite everything else going on in the world. And while it will never be, the year that we look back on and we're like, wow, that was the best year of our lives, like those 3 things will always stick out as like some of the top 5 best decisions we've ever made. And we're so glad that we were not people that pushed our wedding because of the pandemic, because being together and, working through the pandemic together as a couple and spending tons of time together has been kind of a crash course on marriage. And we love it. We love living together. We're very, very happy that we got married and didn't put it off, because the marriage part at the end of the day is so much more important than that big party that we didn't get to have. Also, adopting Nash. I love that dog. He brings so much happiness to our lives. That will forever be a highlight. And then buying a home and having home projects and things to do during the pandemic. We had never planned to buy a home. It was really kind of a last minute decision right before we got married, but it has given us so much purpose and given us projects to do and new things to learn about and think about. And while it has been challenging because we had a terrible home buying process and we've had a ton of expenses on the back end, we've learned a ton and we wouldn't trade any of it. A couple of people asked where my top travel destinations are once all of this kind of blows over and we can get the vaccines and the world starts to get a little bit brighter and happier here, hopefully within 2021, that my top travel destination will be Kauai. Brian and I did have to cancel our honeymoon, and so we are really excited for the chance to go back and make that happen. And we wanted to do it right. We really want to wait until everything is open and we can really go fully experience it. So we're really biding our time and are hoping to make that trip. I don't know, we're just gonna keep tabs on current events, but Hawaii is definitely at the tip top of the list. Other than that, domestically, I think I really, really want to go to Seattle and do the Pacific Northwest kind of tour. We have a really good friend. He also has a YouTube channel actually called Oh It's Rome. He lives in Seattle. He's come down to visit us in Dallas. And so we really want to go visit him and we want to have him show us around kind of the Pacific Northwest. I think it would be really cool to start in Canada and kind of make our way down the border in that area. We did a similar trip in the Northeast in 2016 that we loved. And other than that, anything tropical. I have not been to a beach since 2015, like a Florida beach since 2015. But we did go to Italy in 2018 and we did have one beach day, but that wasn't like a full tropical vacation. Do you know what I mean? So really, really, really want to go somewhere tropical, which I know Kauai would definitely fit the bill on that, but I could go to any tropical place beyond that too and be very, very happy. All right, lots and lots of questions about what I eat in a day or how I maintain my weight and how we stay healthy in our family. And I'm very flattered. So thank you for asking those questions, but we don't have a real formula or recipe for any of that. Our mindset in general is everything in moderation. We like lots and lots of healthy foods and we love to cook, and experimenting with new recipes is really fun for us. So eating good, healthy, real food is our norm. We don't eat a ton of frozen food. We'll keep a frozen pizza or two on hand if we just really don't feel like cooking one night, but that is definitely the exception more than the rule. And we also just watch our portion sizes. I eat until I'm full and then I'm done. I don't gorge myself. I have really had to get better about cooking more food because Brian does eat so much more than I do. So if I'm serving up his plate and I put 3 scoops of something, I'll give myself 2 because proportionately, I don't need to eat as much as him. So portion control, I guess. But we definitely love cocktails and we love to drink wine, and I don't need tons of dessert, but I do like a little sweet treat. We keep True Fruit in the fridge all the time, or I love Hershey Kisses. Those are also sitting around available all the time. So dieting is not our thing. Restricting ourselves from things is not our thing, because we know mentally if we restrict ourselves from eating something, we'll want it more than we ever wanted it before, even when it was available to us all the time. So it's a mindset thing for us. And then we cook 80 to 90% of our meals in. So we have full control over portion sizes and what goes into our food. And we can make different swaps if we want to choose a dairy-free option. If we want to modify a recipe to be vegetarian, that's been another goal for us, is to eat a lot more vegetarian meals, and we have been loving it. And then in general, staying healthy and maintaining my weight, I love to exercise. It is a huge source of stress relief for me, and it's double whammy, bettering my body, making me stronger, making me more capable, making me more flexible, burning off calories, but also really helping me mentally not be so stressed. Anyway, those are our tips. So speaking of exercise, I do exercise 5-ish days a week, and that's because we have a Peloton. And I have several questions about the Peloton, my favorite instructors, or is it worth the price? Do you think that it's definitely worth buying full price? My answer to that is yes, with an asterisk, because I think that you need to know that you like cycling before you buy the bike. Like, I think it would be super risky to be like, I don't know if I'll even like exercising that way, and then drop almost $2,000 on a piece of exercise equipment. So for me, I knew that I loved cycling. I had a gym membership at a cycling place before the pandemic hit. That was like a surefire thing for me. Like I was guaranteed to like what I was buying. So if you don't have one, I would try out a friend's or go to the Peloton store or something and try it out first. I definitely wouldn't just dive in without knowing if you like it. I have zero hesitations or regrets about buying this bike. It is in my best purchases of 2020 video. I go into great detail if you haven't seen that. So yes, I love it. Favorite instructors though, I have a million. And I actually wrote them down before this so I wouldn't forget anybody. So I love Cody, Emma, Maggie'sTwoCents, Olivia Amato, Hannah, Tunde, Ali, Kendall, and Aditi. Aditi is the yoga instructor that I just discovered. Everyone else is cycling instructors. So I like classes that push me to my limits. I want to be completely breathless, soaked in sweat, no question about it that I worked out, because again, it is like a stress reliever for me. So I want to go hard for 30 minutes and then go about my day. So that is the kind of style of workout that I like. So if you're into that, you would probably like those instructors too, especially Maggie'sTwoCents and Olivia Amato. I think those are the hardest instructors that I take frequently. Okay, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? This is funny. Okay, so when I was in like probably second grade or so, I wanted to be a Walmart greeter because I thought that it would be so fun to stand there and get to say hey to everybody. I just thought that would have been a great job. Also, I wanted to work, we had this place called Snowbiz. It was like this little snow cone hut. It was actually shaved ice, if we're being technical. And I wanted to work at Snowbiz too so that I could get free snow cones. So those were my big dreams and aspirations. Never wanted to be anything in the medical field, just wanted to greet people at Walmart. Productivity tips. You seem to accomplish so much. That is so nice. You need to want things, and that's how you become productive. I am motivated by a clean house. I love the feeling of having a clean house. So me cleaning up all the time and trying to take care of the house, something that means a lot to me, so I get it done. YouTube. Love this hobby. It does suck the life out of me sometimes having a full-time job and doing YouTube. Like today, before I filmed this video, I was very stressed trying to come up with an idea and things that I could film timely. But at the end of the day, I love this community. I love the creativity of coming up with new content and figuring out new series for my channel and sharing knowledge with you. So that's a motivator and that helps me get things done. I love to read. Books are super interesting to me, and I have found that the best time that I can read and not feel like I should be doing something else is before bed. So I've just reserved going to bed as my reading time. Brian and Nash motivate me. I want to do things for them. I want to help them. I want to make sure Nash is taking on his walks. Find the things that really motivate you, and that's what keeps me productive, at least. I know not everybody is the same way. I don't do well with idle hands, which can also kind of be a flaw. I'll say, like, I don't really enjoy just sitting and watching TV unless it's at night really late, because I feel like I should be doing other things, which has its own implications in my life and probably contributes to some of the gray hairs that have shown up lately. So what do you enjoy reading? Man, oh man, you should tune in to my Sunday summaries on Instagram because I go over what I'm reading that week, what I'm cooking, what I'm watching, so that could give you a better idea. But in general, rom-coms, love them. Anything about like royal people, like it could be biographies or even fiction, I'm totally into. I love funny people biographies. I think I've read Tina Fey's Bossy Pants like 3 or 4 times. Love that. And then also just nonfiction. I love to learn. So like Malcolm Gladwell books are super interesting to me. I have one right now called The Art of Negotiation that I really want to read. So that's kind of my like go-to genres. Super quick one. Favorite coffee drink? Black coffee. That's it. Don't put anything in it. I don't want cream. I don't want sugar. I don't want it to be flavored coffee either. Just give me straight up coffee. And the last question is goals for 2021. And I actually think I'm gonna leave this on a cliffhanger. And I think I'm gonna do a whole video on that. So we're actually gonna end here because I want to share my goals with you so that you can help hold me accountable, so that we can grow and learn and change and challenge ourselves together. So hopefully you had a good time learning a little bit more about me. Thank you so much for submitting questions. Again, if you want to submit some questions in the future, I always ask these on my Instagram. So I'll leave that in the description box down below. And if you liked this video, then like it. Stick around, subscribe, join the community, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.